Hi guys, in this video we are continuing on with our development of understanding fractions, and we're going to be particularly looking at the three different types of numbers we work with when working with fractions. So just starting off, we're going to talk about our learning intentions. So what are we hoping to learn in this video is being able to, so you'll be able to identify proper fractions, improper fractions and mixed numbers, and be able to convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers. Now you'll know that you've achieved the learning that's necessary in this video if you know when to leave fractions or how to leave fractions in simplest form or the most appropriate form, and you can convert between the types of fractions. So let's begin with proper fractions. So proper fractions are when we have a number that is less than a whole. So it's made up of a number of parts out of a whole, but it's not more than a whole. So in this case, we have 3/4, and we know that the denominator, is bigger in this case than the numerator, and the denominator is how many parts make up our whole. So in this case, we have 3 parts out of our whole, and our whole is made up of 4 parts. So let's look at our improper fractions. Now, improper fractions look like this when we have 7 parts out of the 4 parts. So 7 parts out of our 4 parts, and we refer to the 4 parts as being how many parts make up one whole. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential parts, but we're talking about how many whole numbers there would be. So in this case, a whole pizza or a whole cake. So each of these cakes are made up of 4 parts, so we're saying the denominator is 4. Now the numerator is going to be bigger than the denominator because we're in improper fractions, our number is greater than 1. And here we have 1 and 3 parts. So in proper fractions we have 7/4. And then we have what we call mixed numbers. So this is where we have whole numbers and fractions together. So this improper fraction can be left as a mixed number, or it can be left as an improper fraction. Now when we're working with fractions and we're solving problems, unless it says otherwise, we always convert it to mixed numbers, as mixed numbers is the simplest form. If it's a proper fraction, obviously you can't turn that into a mixed number, you just leave that as a fraction. So mixed numbers are when we have a whole and a fraction. So in this case we have 2 whole cakes and 3/4 of a cake. So this is for numbers greater than 1, and mixed numbers are partly made of whole numbers and a proper fraction. Now it's really important that the fraction part of this is a proper fraction. If it's an improper fraction, it's not in its simplest form. So now what we're going to do is look at converting between these 3 types of fractions, the 2 types of fractions, improper and mixed numbers. So let's first talk about, well, what does converting mean? So the word converting means to change one thing into another. So an example that I have here is we have a sad face, we have a sad person. He's really, really sad. But we give him an ice cream and we convert him into a very happy person because we gave him an ice cream. We changed something. We did something which changed the outcome. We're converting it. So in this case, we're talking about converting or changing an improper fraction into a mixed number or a mixed number into an improper fraction. So let's talk first about converting the fractions, and let's just give some examples here. So in this case, we have our improper fraction, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts out of 4 to make up a whole. So we have 7/4. And then we have it as a mixed number as well, which means we have a whole here, so 1, and 1, 2, 3 out of 4, which is 3/4, so 1 and 3/4. So we have our improper fraction and our mixed number. Now, these 2 numbers, although they look different, they represent the same amount. If you were to put them on a number line, you would put them both 3/4 of the way between 1 and 2. Okay, let's do some examples now of converting from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how many groups of 2 we have in 9. So here is one of our groups. So this is what one of our wholes will look like, a whole number. This is like our whole block of chocolate or something. And in this case, we've got 2 included. So we've got 2 out of 2 so far. So that's 2 out of the 9. Then we've got another 2, which means in total we have 4 out of the 9 parts. We have another 2, so that's 6 out of the 9 parts. Another 2, so that's 8 out of the 9 parts, which means now we only have 1/2. So we've got 1 out of the 9. So we can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes, so 4 whole numbers and a half. So our answer here is 4 1/2. Now, one way we can look at doing this is, well, 9 divided by 4, or how many times is 9 going to, that should be 9 divided by 2. So 9 divided by 2 equals 4 with 1 remaining. So therefore, and that's what those 3 dots mean, therefore 9 halves equal 4 1/2. So let's look now at 12 fifths. So again, 12 divides into 5 twice with 2 remaining. So therefore 12 fifths equal 2 and 2 remaining. That's our 2 out of 5, which is how many parts make up a whole. Pause it now, come back, do the next one, and we'll see if you get the answer right. So this one's a little bit different. So we're saying 6 divided by 3 gives us 2 with none remaining. So that means that therefore 6/3 is actually 2. So sometimes we can have just 2 whole numbers. So 2 whole cakes or 2 whole blocks of chocolate. So it depends on what our numerator is and what our denominator is. Okay, let's look now at converting from a mixed number to an improper fraction. So in this case, what we're talking about is that we have 6 whole numbers, each made up of 4 parts. So we've got 4 parts here, and so we say that's 4 out of 4, so 4 quarters, which is a whole. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we have a 3 quarters as well. Now if we add up all of the numerators, we get numerators of 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, plus 3 gives us 27. So our answer here is 27 quarters. Now, there's another way we can do this, and what we can do is multiply the denominator by the whole number, so 6 times 4, and then add our numerator to it to get our new numerator. So 6 times 4 gives us 24, plus 3 gives us 27, so we know that it's 27 fourths. So let's do this next one using this technique of multiplying. So what we're going to do is multiply 4 times 8 and then add the 7. Therefore 6/3 equals 27, 6 and 3 quarters equals 27 quarters. Now this one here, 4 and 7 eighths. So 4 times 8, plus 7. So 4 times 8 gives us 32, plus 7 gives us 39. So therefore 4 and 7 eighths equals 39 eighths. Now, the last one, it's a really big one, but that's okay, it still works the same. So what I want you to do is pause it, have a go, and then come back. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong. So, if we went 39 times 9 plus 4, what we get is 351 plus 4. So in total we get 355. So our final answer here is 39 and 4 ninths equals 355 ninths. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. Thanks, guys.